everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. Tonight we're going to have some fun because we are going to continue on with some Christmas in July cards. I know we're going to spill Christmas in July into August a little bit, but that's okay, right? Who's counting? And tonight we're going to be playing with the stencil set that came inside the Christmas in July card kit. It is the Layered Mistletoe Layering Stencil, and I'm going to show you how to use it just as a stencil, but then I also am going to show you what it looks like when you foil it, and then I have a couple card projects where, well, I have a couple projects. One is a card, one is a tag, to show you up close so that you can see what it looks like when it's foiled as well. And there are so many fun ways to use this stencil. I think it's probably one of my favorite stencils that we've ever done. This stencil was created by my daughter Alicia. She did all of those beautiful layers for us, and I can't wait to get started. But before we do, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Greetings from steamy Wisconsin.
I know, it's hot here, isn't it?
Yes, I did a bike ride through all the corn sweat today.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Is the corn tall?
Some of it is, it looks like it's 8 feet.
I know, and ours even looks like it's close to like 7 feet.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's exciting.
I don't know if it really is that, but it just looks really tall from the road.
Yeah, well, if you stand next to it, you'd be able to, to judge. Yeah, well, I'm glad you got a bike ride in today. And do you have a word of the day? Were you out on the bike pondering the word of the day for today?
I was, and I do.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, don't let me forget it. No matter what, don't let me forget it. All right? And don't let me forget to pick a winner for a gift card tonight at the end of our live.
Okay. Yeah, you get too involved sometimes.
I know. I forget. I just get so lost in the crafting.
All right. We'll bring you back down to earth.
Sounds good. All right. Well, let me show you the stencil that we're going to be using today. So this is our Layered Mistletoe Stencil. Now, I have mine in a large stamp pocket. I like to store my stencils in these stamp pockets. Now, we do have stencil pockets, but if you have the coordinating die and you want a little bit of extra room, you can also store them in the large stamp pockets. So it's totally up to you which way you like to store them. I mean, I'm sure you have other ways out there as well, but this one has a coordinating die, and I did put mine on one of our magnets, but you can pick up these magnets. They're still 25% off in our store too. We're selling our magnets. So this is, oh, and I wanted to show you this too. So the way our dies are coming now, they're coming stuck to this glossy board. All right, and then you just pull them off, but there is some tape on there. So what I did is I just cut a quarter sheet of cardstock and stuck it over the tape rather than trying to get the tape off. And then I keep that with the stencil so that, if I want to look at it like in the right orientation, it's right here for me. It reminds me the name of it because this doesn't have the name. If I need the barcode for anything, whatever, I like to keep my packaging in with the stencil and with stamps and things like that. So that is a way to get rid of that sticky stuff. Just put a little sheet of cardstock on there. And if you want, you could even stencil it with the stencil design so that, you've got the die here and you can turn it over and see what the stencil design looks like when it's done. So that's what I wanted to show you there. Now, this is a 4-piece layering stencil, and all of these layers are etched, and it says Layered Mistletoe 1, Layered Mistletoe 2, all the way up to Layered Mistletoe 4. So we're going to make a simple layered mistletoe card, a simple one, using just the layering stencils. Now for my card today, I thought I would go a little bit outside of the traditional holiday colors because I do have one that is very traditional with red and green. But I thought it would be kind of fun to do some pinks. So we've got these layered carnations. We've got the light, medium, and dark layered carnations. And then we also have the light and medium, we have dark too, in our spruces. So I thought this would be a beautiful soft combination for a holiday card. So I am going to use my sticky mat for this. This just makes it a little bit easier to get these stencils in place. And I am going to just put my cardstock down there. Every once in a while I get a hair. I don't know if it's a Mishi hair or a Houdini hair. Houdini is my other daughter, Alicia, puppy. You know, you just get them all over the place, right? All right, so I'm sure a lot of you have pets, cats and dogs at home, and you've got some hair stuck to your grit mats and sticky mats as well. Now, this doesn't matter where I do this on the piece of cardstock. All I have to do is, you know, make sure that all the layers line up and I'm good to go. But I do want to show you, maybe I'll show you this because I think it's important for you to see this. I'm actually going to cut this out with the die first, okay? Because a lot of you like to know when you're doing the layering stencils, is it good to cut first or stencil first? And it really doesn't matter, but I do want to show you what it looks like when you cut first. And for those of you that have trouble lining up your layering stencils, then I would definitely recommend cutting first. Because if you shift a little bit when you're doing your layering stencils, the die is not going to work, right? Because your images are going to be shifted. But if you've got your piece already die cut, you're going to know if you're stenciling off of that die cut piece. So let's just die cut this one first, and I think that's going to make the whole thing a little bit easier to see. You have a long-haired cat. Yeah, you know. My daughter Rena and her fiance Brian, they have 2 hairless cats. They're funny. They're very bold. All right, so this is what this die looks like when it's cut. So you can see it's really a beautiful die. And my favorite thing about this die, which I love about a lot of the Gina K Designs dies, you will notice that some dies that coordinate with stamps and stencils just do the outline around the outside. We have been asking our art director, when he does our dies, that he does all the inside design as well. And I think that this just makes for a much more beautiful look. Now, it is a lot more work, and it is definitely a more intricate die. But I'm telling you, I think that it's worth the extra time that it takes for us to design it. And I think it's worth having them this way. It's so beautiful when it's all cut out like that. It also makes it a lot easier to use the stencil or the stamp. Because if you are stenciling or stamping onto it after it's cut out, you know, you can really see that you're in the right spot or not. So, all right, now we'll bring this back over. And then I'm going to just stick this right onto my mat. And I positioned it in the same position as the picture, because this is positioned the same way that these stencils are lined up. And that'll just make it easier for you to drop the stencils on there. Now, let me get my ink stands, because I can't live without my ink stands. Oh, and that reminds me, Brianne Loveland is in the chat here on YouTube, and she is helping you find any products that you're looking for. Unfortunately, this kit has sold out, but we're not going to stop inspiring all of the thousands of people who purchased it. We still want to make cards, and we do want you to know that all of these products are going to be available a la carte in our next release. So it's still good to follow along, even if you decided not to get the kit, because there's going to be lots of inspiration, and maybe you'll see something and you'll just want that one thing. Like some people just want the layering stencil or just want that one stamp set. So this is a great way to watch videos, and then you can save them to a playlist for future. All right, now, Brianne just sent me her new ink stands. I'm so excited to see them. I got her new, they just came today, Brianne. I got her new ink cube stand in the black, and I got the new one for our Electropop inks, the little square ones. So I am so excited about all that. I will be showing you that soon enough. It just came like as I was coming down the hall. I saw it sitting on Sammy's desk as I was coming down the hall for this live. All right, where are my other blending brushes? Here they are. They're off to the side here. So I want to get my spruce brush. Okay, so we're going to start with layer 1. And I'm going to line this up. Now, like I said, it's not, it's not perfectly straight because I didn't like measure the stencil where the die cut was, but you can see that I'm pretty straight here. Okay. Now you can look right through that and you can see the outline of the die cut, which makes it really easy to make sure that you're perfectly centered onto this die cut piece. Now I'm going to get my light spruce, and I do want to clean this brush because I don't know what's on this brush. We are working really hard. Guys, we've never had this many orders in our first day of sales before as we did for this release because everybody wanted the kit. So we are still, believe it or not, working our way through day 1, which is almost all the orders. Like almost all the orders were placed on day 1, but we're very close. So if you haven't gotten a shipping notice yet, you will get one very soon. And then we also had 6 people out today. And we don't have, I mean, we have a decent sized staff, but we don't have, hundreds of people that work here. We have 10 full-time people, I think. Is it 10, Tom? Like 10 full-time? And the rest are all part-time, and some are very part-time.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah, if that. Maybe 8. So, yeah, so we do operate with a fairly small staff, even though we've done a lot of hiring over the last year. But sometimes people get sick and people plan summer vacations, and we're a very family-oriented company, so we never want to say no. All right, so now I'm using layer 1, and I'm going to be using the light spruce, and I'm just going to go through this with somewhat of a medium heavy hand, not super heavy, but you see with these skinny lines, see how I'm going like back and forth? I'm going in both directions. You definitely want to do that because these little tiny lines, these details, if you only go in one direction, you're not going to fill it all in. You have to kind of like go like clockwise and counterclockwise, like wax on, wax off kind of thing. All right. I love this color, this spruce. Now I have the card that I made that's going to be a similar layout to what I'm making tonight. I used jelly bean green and fresh asparagus, so the more olivey yellow greens. For this one, I definitely wanted to use the spruces, which is a more blue green, more like a pine tree. And I know that seems weird because it definitely doesn't look blue, but if you look at the base color in our fresh asparagus and jelly bean, they have that olivey tone, which means there's a lot of yellow in there. If you look at these, there's no olive at all. So that means there's definitely a little bit of blue. I mean, when I say no yellow, of course there's yellow because it's blue and yellow that makes the green. But when you add that splash of that like heavier blue, you're going to get more of this color. And there's other colors that they add in to make it more cool like this. But I'm not a chemist. But our chemist who does our ink is amazing because we seem to, we used to always do our cardstock first and then make the chemist match it. But now we've started doing our ink first and then we make the cardstock company match it. I think it's a little bit easier that way. All right, so now we have our first layer on here, and you can see how this is coming together. Now we're going to put our second layer, and this one's pretty easy to line up. You just have to kind of like play with it until everything looks, all the white disappears. You don't see the white anymore. Okay. Now we're going to go with the medium spruce. So we're going to get into some of the darker green. We could use dark spruce, but I think medium is going to be plenty dark enough. And I want to make sure that I have a spruce brush here. One of these is spruce. I feel like this is more spruce. That's definitely more blue. That's more yellowy green. So we're going to use this one. Okay. We'll just check it again on the... Yeah, that looks good. All right, so I'm using a fine detail brush for this because these are very, very tiny little spaces. And I'm just going to fill that in nice and solid. Kind of see how that's going to create a nice shadow down near the base of each of these leaves. You know, I don't know if I ever told you guys how we do the stencil art, but Alicia and I call it our art date. We Zoom, and she's at her house, and I'm at work, and we Zoom together, and then she shares her screen with me, and she's like, all right, Mom, what do you want? And I tell her what I want and what I kind of want it to look like, and I show her, you know, styles of, I don't know, ads and things like that, and say, you know, I want it to kind of feel like this, and I want it to kind of look like that. And then she will make all the magic because she knows how to create with very little, you know, very little spaces, how to create those shadows. You know, it's not, I don't know, I find it to be so interesting. I watch her do it and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I want. But I don't know how she gets there, and I don't know how she sees it. A lot of times she starts putting the shadows in and I'm like, do they go there? But then once I see it all done, I'm like, that's exactly where they go. All right, so there we go. We've got layer 2. Isn't that so pretty? This is such a fun, modern design, and that's really what I was hoping for. I really love the look of modern. It feels a lot like the primrose that she did. Remember the whimsical primrose? That was 2 kits ago, maybe? And everybody loved that, maybe 3 kits ago. Everybody loved that one, and people were like, you need to do more in this style. So this has definitely got that feel. So I'm just cleaning my stencils here with a little bit of alcohol. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to go to our berries. So I am going to start with light carnation. I also think the purples would be really cool for this, but I really wanted to do a pink card, so I'm going to stick with my plan. Okay. Now, this layer of the stencil has the ribbon in it too. So it's really your choice. You don't have to make your ribbon match the berries. I like the way that looks, which is why we decided to do that, because in a design like this, you know, when you're thinking, okay, what cardstock color am I going to put with this? And what am I going to make this whole thing look like? I feel like the ribbon with the berries, because the berries, there's just such a little bit of color, you know, not a ton, that I feel like the berries and the ribbon being the same color really work. But they're far enough away that you don't even have to mask this off. You don't have to hide that. They're far enough away that if you're using a small detail brush, you could make the berries pink and you could do the ribbon blue or purple or whatever you want and not really overlap. But I like the idea of making this all kind of the same. So we're going to use the light carnation first. All right. And for cardstock, because we don't have a light carnation or a medium carnation cardstock, the closest color cardstock to this is Innocent Pink. And it works really well. So if you're looking for a color that works with the carnations, Innocent Pink is my first choice. I think it looks great together. I've done lots of carnation cards where I've used Innocent Pink as my card base color, and I think it's beautiful. And it looks more like Innocent Pink once you get the second layer on there. And I'm using our small brushes here, and then the detail brushes for the details. But you could use all detail brushes if you want. And you can even use big brushes too. Like if you just have our large brushes, you definitely can do that. I would just recommend, you know, making sure that you take a little extra time to go in both directions and make sure those bristles get into those small areas. Okay, so there we have our light carnation. Let's peel that off and see what that looks like. Oh, isn't that pretty? So soft and so pretty. All right, now we're going to do our final layer. That's what this looks like. And this is going to be our medium carnation. I definitely think we could do dark carnation too, if we wanted. But let's just see how this goes. Now, I'm making sure that the berries are all lined up, and I'm making sure that the ribbon is lined up, kind of looking right in the center here, like in this area, to make sure that is all lined up. No, Sharon, we won't be carrying white magnetic sheets, just black. We buy them by the tens of thousands, and the material comes from the manufacturer in black, and if we did a custom color, it would really increase the price of the magnets for us. All right. So now we're going to go with the medium carnation. I did clean the brush a little bit because I don't know what was on there. It looked a little bit orange, but I think I got it all, and I think that that's pretty dry. Let's just check the color here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Yeah, I think this is... There are just certain stencils like that Whimsical Primrose and this one that are so my style. I love them so much. But I will tell you that Alicia came up with a really cool stencil for our September Christmas kit. She also has a beautiful stencil coming in our August kit. I can't have a kit without a stencil. Stencils are just too much fun, and they're so easy to work with. They just create such a beautiful look. So you guys can see how much easier this whole thing has been because I die cut it first. And the other thing is, you know, if you don't die cut it first, there's always that risk that it's not going to be perfectly centered unless you use one of my centering techniques, which you can. But this just makes it so easy because the stencils are so translucent that you can see right in there. Okay, I think we got it. Now, if we want to, we could use the dark carnation, and we could add a little dark carnation like in some of these spots. Let me just show you what I mean. So this is the dark carnation. It's pretty dark, but we could do like a little bit like right here near the base of that ribbon, just to kind of have a little ink blended color in there. Just a little bit in here. Maybe right in the center there. So we'll see how that looks to get all three colors. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? And it's so soft. I love that. All right, am I missing any questions, Tom?
Here's one from Dawn. What is Alicia's job outside of working for Gina as a designer?
So Alicia is also in school. She decided to go back to school for another degree. She's already got a degree in fine art, but she's going back for another art degree. And this degree is going to enable her to, if she wants to down the line, teach at a university level, if she wants. But she also, at the same time, so she's in school, but she's also apprenticing right now to be a tattoo artist, which is such a perfect career for Alicia because she loves tattoos. She has them. Her art that she prefers is it lends itself toward that. You know, if you saw Alicia's art, you would think that she designed all of Tim Holtz stamps. She's got that kind of little bit of grunge in her art. And so she's doing that too. And I believe that she actually starts working on people very, very soon. And then she's been working for us for many years. And I am very nervous that she will not want to work for us anymore when her tattoo career gets going, because I know she's going to be in high demand, but I'm going to beg her to stay because we need our layering stencils, right, guys? Okay. So now we have this. Now, what I'd like to do is I would like to do a greeting, and I think I'm going to do the greeting in dark carnation. And the greeting I want to do is from the Let Your Light Shine stamp set. So I think I'll do Merry and Bright for this.
I wonder if Alicia watches a lot of tattoo-torials.
Oh no, is that a word of the day? Tattoo-torials. Oh my gosh. I wonder. Okay, so I'm going to put a piece of cardstock in here. I think I want to use that. Gosh, I mean, Merry and Bright seems nice. Merry Christmas, of course, is very... Should I do Merry Christmas? Let me do Merry Christmas, because that is just, you know, I love a Merry Christmas card. And I use the other ones on a different projects over here that I'm going to show you. All right. So this card uses nothing but stamping and stenciling, where my other two cards use the Polyglaze. But like I told you during the release party, I definitely want to show you both. You know, I want to show you not just working with Polyglaze, but I want to show you how to use the stamps too. I get a little carried away when we have Polyglaze because I love it so much. So I have to make sure that we also make some stamped cards for my friends who aren't Polyglaze enthusiasts. Alrighty, so let's do this a couple times. I really do have to clean this stamp. I've used it just a couple times, but not enough yet to get all that manufacturing residue off of there. If you put your sparkle paste in the kit on the berries, would they still be pink? Yes, they would be. And I can demonstrate that for you. They would definitely still be pink. Where's my Chucky tool? Here it is. All right, we're going to go one more layer of this, and I want to make sure that this is going to match, because I didn't really do a lot of this dark carnation. So tell me what you think. Is this too dark, or should we go maybe... Yeah, see, I don't like that match. I don't think that matches the way I want it to. I think I'd rather go with the medium spruce on this. Or we could try the medium carnation. We could even try a fade. I don't know what that would look like, but it's worth trying while we're all here hanging out, right? We can try it and see how it would look. Let's just try a fade. All right, so I'm going to start with the medium carnation and see if that works. I feel like all around this would look a little bit better. All one more layer. Yeah, I agree, too dark. We're gonna try the fade and see how that looks. All right, so I already feel like this is gonna look better with this. But let's just add a little bit of dark carnation. And I feel like I want to add it maybe with a sponge dauber. Because with the sponge dauber, you can press the color onto the stamp. I don't know that this is going to work with a blending brush. But I feel like it might work with a sponge dauber. So let's just play with it and see, okay? We'll try something new together. So these are the Gina K Designs sponge daubers. Terry Norris, never say never. There very well might be a cranberry color.
So Sherry wants to know, are we going to get tattoos from Alicia?
Well, you know what? Okay. So I've never been a tattoo person. I don't have any tattoos. However, I told Alicia that, okay, so it's a little bit darker there at the bottom. I don't want to go like too much, but I definitely want it a little darker. Maybe I should have started even lighter at the top. Can you see how that is like a fade there? It goes from the light color and then it comes down and gets a little bit darker. Try light carnation. All right, we'll try light carnation. So I always want to support my kids, right? But I've just never really wanted a tattoo. And almost every single one of my friends has a tattoo. In fact, I don't think I have a friend that doesn't have a tattoo. But Tom and I don't have them. And you know what Alicia said to me? You know what I could do, Mom, if you're interested? I could do a little T1D on your wrist. And I thought that is the greatest idea for type 1 diabetes with the little medical symbol on my wrist. Because lots of times, like if I'm going in the ocean, I'm taking this off. I don't want to be attracting sharks with all my glitz and glitter. So I don't wear my jewelry when I go in the ocean. And if something happened, I would have that medical symbol right on my wrist, and there's no chance I'm ever not going to be a type 1 diabetic. I mean, that's for sure. So I thought, that's a good idea, Alicia. I like that. Maybe I should do that. So that's what we talked about. Now, what are you going to get, Tom?
Oh, I would have to think about that. I do have kind of a utilitarian bent, so maybe like a universal calendar or a metric conversion chart or something.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So now, obviously, that is beautiful. That looks great. I don't know if I want to mess it up with a fade, because this is going to fade up to this color, but maybe I should just do a little bit of the extra color. Maybe I'll use just what's on here, and we'll just add a little bit of darkness down at the bottom. Ooh, that looks really pretty. That really does look pretty. It's very soft, but you could definitely see right down here along the bottom how it's a little bit darker. Well, I don't mean, I know some of you don't have tattoos. I just mean like my friends that I see in the flesh. Not online. My online friends, I'm sure I have a lot of online friends that don't have tattoos. Okay. All right, we're going to leave it like that because I like the way that looks, and I think that that actually looks really pretty with this. I think that's going to be a nice combination. And I like that fade idea. It's like a balayage for your card, you know? Like a balayage where they have like your hair is dark and then it gets lighter at the bottom, except it's a reverse balayage because it's light at the top and it gets darker toward the bottom. So I love that. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do a little die cutting on that word. Of course, I could use the technique, right, the centering technique, but I think I'm just going to eyeball it and do my best. And then we're going to assemble this card. And then I get to show you a couple other cards that I made. I don't have my step stool set up off to the side here to put things on. Okay. And sorry guys, I once again left my magnetic platform at home, the base, so I'm going to have to use just my regular plate here. So let me get a sheet of Masking Magic strips. All right. I think tattoos in the younger generation, you know, the kids, the Gen Z and the millennials. I don't know if Alicia is a super, super young millennial or if she's just one of the older Gen Zers, but she's certainly on the cusp. She has traits of both, but they all have tattoos, or a lot of them do. And you know, it's all right with me. If that's what they like, that's what they should do. I remember when Rena was 16, she had just turned 16 and she wanted her belly button pierced. Doesn't that just sound horrible? It sounds so painful. And, you know, because she was only 16, she was old enough to get it done legally in Wisconsin, but she had to have a parent there with her, so I took her. And I was like, oh, I can't believe that we're going to do this. And I can't watch, you know, I can't. And we went with a friend of hers and the friend's mom. So we all went together. And wouldn't you know, I walked out with my own nose pierced. Got my nose pierced that day. So, you know, there we go. Isn't that gorgeous the way that cuts out and you can see all the cutouts in there? That's what I mean. It doesn't just go around the perimeter. You get all the cutouts in there. Okay. And I wear the nose ring every once in a while, but it bothers me. Like I feel it there, so I take it out and then it kind of closes up a little bit and I got to work it back in. I like it. I think it's really cute. I don't wear anything big. I wear a tiny little sparkle. I could probably take one of our little rhinestones that we sell, one of our embellishments, and just glue it on with some Connect glue and it would look exactly the same. But every once in a while I just put it in just to remember that it's there. That was my, I never had like wild, crazy days when I was a kid. I was a very goody two-shoes little kid. So I'm living vicariously through my children, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to cut a piece of Innocent Pink.
Maybe I'll get a few tattoos that are just disclaimers.
Disclaimers? Rules and regulations, instructions. All right, see, I think that this Innocent Pink is going to look really beautiful. Oh, I guess I was a little bit of a rebel when I was a kid because my mom didn't want me to get my ears pierced. She didn't think anybody needed their ears pierced. She didn't like it, but she gave in because all of my friends had their ears pierced. And got my ears pierced, and then I remember I was with a friend who was getting her ears double pierced, and I got mine double pierced. And I knew my mom was going to be so mad, so I took my first piercings out and only wore the double pierced ones until they completely healed. And then I took the little pair of earrings to school with me, and I'd put the other ones in at school and then take them out before I got home from school. Wasn't I naughty? Terrible. And honestly, that was like the worst thing I ever did as a kid. I was very boring. Double pierced ears. When my mom finally found out, she found out when I was like 45 and she still got mad at me. She was still so disappointed. I'm like, Mom, I have a business. I'm making you proud. She's still completely disappointed. Okay. So I am going to use this panel here that I cut out with Master Layouts 2, and you can see that little stitching there. That's going to give me just a nice little touch of something. And do I not have any tape rubber? I do. I just...
F. Joe Clemens wants to know, what am I going to disclaim?
Oh, that's a... What are you going to disclaim?
What do you got?
That's funny. It's a great comment. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that these are all taped down nice and tight. Now, you see this frame that I have here? This was something that I wanted to use when I was making my release party samples, but everybody's laughing at my naughtiness. My sister only got one double pierced, and my mom nearly had a heart attack about that. She didn't know what it meant. And I'm like, Mom, it's just probably hurt, and she didn't want to get the other one done. I think she was just like always trying to like look at my mom from the side so that the other one was hidden. My mom was very strict. Very strict. Yes, I am going to put some sparkle gel on them, but sparkle gel takes a while to dry. So I'm going to add the sparkle gel after I assemble the card, which I don't necessarily recommend, but I just don't want to mess with it when it's wet, you know? And I think that it's going to be messy, so I'm thinking that I might have to put the sparkle gel on after. Or I can quick stencil one, because it's pretty early. It's only 45 minutes. So I could quick stencil one and show you how it works, and then I'll let that dry and use that on another card at another time. So this is from Master Layouts. Brienne, help me. I think it is from Master Layouts 18. Is that right? 18? Let me look. Master Layout. No, it's from Master Layouts 19. This is from Master Layouts 19, and I really wanted to make a card with this on release party day, but I had made so many cards and I ran out of time that I just saved it, and I thought I could use it in the live to, now. I mean, I didn't at the time, but it's a perfect time for me to use it. So I feel like this, because it's white on white, what I did was I cut 3 of these out and I glued them all together. So you can see it's pretty thick. And that just gives me a little bit of dimension on this card. But because it's white on white, even though it's a little busy, it won't take away from the beauty of that stencil design, right? So I'm going to use it for tonight's card, and then I'm going to show you a couple other ones that I used. Now, I love the idea of getting, type 1 diabetes put on me as a tattoo, because you can never, first of all, I don't know if you noticed, but I got a new bracelet. This one, I get these from Lauren's Hope, and I have a link on our blog under the things I love. I got a new one because when Alicia and I started talking about it, she said, how do you word it on your ID bracelet? And I looked at my ID bracelet and it had worn off. It didn't say anything. It was completely worn off on the other side, like what my issues are. And I was like, oh no, that's dangerous. And then she was like, see, Mom, it'll never wear off if it's a tattoo. So she's absolutely right. I think that's a great, for somebody that, doesn't know what they would want as a tattoo, but wants to support their tattoo artist kid. I think that is a grand idea. Okay. Oh, Brienne, thank you for sharing the link to my bracelet. I appreciate that. A lot of people always ask about that. All right, so I'm going to put this a little bit more in the center, not too far up. Let's try to get it centered here.
How about if I get my living will done on my as a tattoo? It can be a short one, like
Well, you could. I mean, I bet that there are
pull
people.
the plug.
Do not resuscitate. You want that?
Just pull the plug. That won't take up much space.
Pull the plug. I don't know if that's legal, Tom. You're the lawyer. Would that be legal? You'd have to give it a try. Let's see. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. All right. So now I'm just using a large acrylic block kind of as a paperweight here. Our blocks are, you know, a nice heavy weight to be able to hold that down. And then I'm going to just add this onto the card, extending a little bit off the side onto the pink. And then this is going to come right across the center like that. And then I'll add some little sparkles in there. And I think the sparkles that I want to add, I don't know if I have them in a little thing yet. I think they're still in the package. I gotta find them. Where are they? Here they are. I think I'm gonna use the crystal clear sequins. So our team puts all our labeling on them. So Jennifer, do you have a tattoo? Somebody asked earlier if you had a tattoo, and I didn't want to tell tales out of school, but I said I didn't think I had. I think all of my friends have tattoos. I think I'm the only one that doesn't. So, but you don't have to tell us if you don't want to. I won't make you tell us. Okay, so now I'm going to put this just going over to the edge like that. I'm going to put most of my foam squares in this area here and then one up here. So I'm not going to touch this area because it's going to be all lumpy. All right, and I'm going to be using a lot of these small ones, although I might be able to use one big one in here. I mean, I should know that. I should know whether or not you have a tattoo. But, you know, I don't even notice tattoos that much. I mean, they're beautiful. And Alicia had one, she does have one that has like colors in it too, which is really cool. But I think, and Rena has several. Brian has a bunch. It's just, you know, it's their generation. It's something that they really love. Okay, I'm just feeling around to see where I need to add some extras. There we go. I mean, Jennifer, your name says ink. Jennifer McGuire, ink. That could be a tattoo, an indication of a tattoo, right? Getting inked. It's a different kind of ink. All right. But I loved Alicia's suggestion, so I think if I get one, that's what I'm going to get. So one day I might show up and you just might see a medical tattoo right here that says type 1 diabetic. I think it's a great idea. And then I can be cool like the cool kids. I don't know how cool that is, though, to have your medical issues tattooed. It seems a little nerdy, but it's all right.
Well, you have it like on a sword or something.
Oh, that's a good idea. Like a diabetic warrior. Oh, I love that. All right, that's what I'm going to do. She's making her, I think it's called a flash sheet. And that's where you have like a bunch of designs that you've designed that a lot of people might like certain kinds of butterflies and, you know, sayings and things that a lot of people get as tattoos. You know, the semicolon, different things like that. And she said, I'm going to put that on my flash sheet because anybody coming in That might be something that they would like go home and tell somebody, like, you should get this. I saw it. It's kind of cool. And I thought that was a great idea. Okay, so now I put that on there. Is that too far up? Well, it might be a little late now to reposition it, but maybe not. If I do it fast.
Well, are you sure it's too high?
Well, I don't know. I feel like it might
Before
be a
you
little
start
high.
ripping it apart?
What's that?
Before you start ripping it apart?
I think I can do it. I know it's nerve-wracking. I just
agita.
go for it, you know. I'm giving you agita. We'll see. It's just a little stuck, but I feel like I just put it too high. It's gonna work. Be brave. Be brave with me, everybody. Okay. There we go. It was just a little too high for my liking. Watch it be in the exact same spot. There, that's better. I felt like it wasn't low enough to down here. Now it feels better to me. Doesn't that feel better to everybody? You're all breathing a sigh of relief with me? That was a little nerve-wracking. Maybe a little bit stupid. All right. I could put one under here, even though it's going to be just a little bit lower. Why not? Maybe it's not going to be that bad. Boy, I'm really just bending things and... We were talking about that one time. I remember, like, when you're comfortable with what you do, like you're not afraid to like rip or whatever. When I had my ACL reconstructed, I thought I was in my 40s and I thought I was still 20, and I took my kids to gymnastics and I started doing backflips. I used to be a gymnast. Started doing backflips and I was having the time of my life until I landed on my knee and tore my ACL. And, you know, it was so sensitive and stuff. And when I went to the orthopedic surgeon, he just started twisting it. And I was like, ah! But he knew what he was doing, I guess. All right, so
he laughed. Remember, he laughed at how tiny it was.
Yeah, because I went to a guy here in Madison, Wisconsin, at the university, and he did all of the Milwaukee Bucks and the Packers, and like whenever they had something like that, he was like the sports medicine doctor to the Packers, and I come in with my tiny chicken knee. He was like, I don't think I ever worked on a knee this small. And I'm like, well, maybe you'll get lucky and get Aaron Rodgers next year, which he did.
Is that an A2 card?
This is an A2 card. So I'm just putting foam squares here and here just to hold it up in this area, and then the rest I'm going to tape. And we'll do, I might be able to... I'll have to see if I can put a little, I think I can put a little gel on my tag that I have over here just to show you how it works. The gel does take a little while to dry, so if
that's the Merry Christmas you cut out, right? That was the right one?
That's the right one,
yeah. It has blended kind of.
Yep, it has the balayage look.
Right.
And it's lighter at the top, and then I just added that little bit on the bottom. Isn't that just a fun, pretty layout? I love that. All right, let's add just a few little clear sequins here. Yes, the badgers. He does all the badgers. Mm-hmm.
University of Wisconsin.
University. What did I say?
You said badgers. I didn't know if everybody
was
aware.
The UW Badgers. They're Wisconsin. The Wisconsin Badgers. We're the Badger State. Big Ten. Okay. So, let me find my pick and stick tool. Oh, here's the one. Okay, so I'm just going to lay a couple of these out, and I feel like these little flat sequins are going to be just the perfect look. I really love these. I'll just do, and I'll do one here. So, you know, we like our odd numbers. I'm going to do 5. And I think that's going to be really pretty. It'll just kind of accent right around. So, and then I'm going to show you the other ones that I made. And then we're going to try to do a little bit of the sparkle gel. Yeah, and the sparkle gel, somebody had asked in the group, you know, my sparkle gel's not dry, but you do have to wait a little bit because it is different. It's kind of like a Vaseline-y texture, different than the Glitz Glitter Gel, which is, they're both water-based. But this is a little thicker, like it's got like a glue in it too. And I'm going to do a different one because I didn't have enough.
Should we sneak in the word of the day?
Yes, let's do a word of the day.
All right, time for the word of the day. Okay. Have you ever, are you finished?
I am. I'm just showing them the sparkle.
Oh, well, I don't want to.
Isn't that pretty? Yes, I'm finished.
Just, see, we didn't time that right. Okay. So, do you want to talk about the card? Or?
I do not. Go.
Okay.
Word of the day.
All right, let's sneak it in here. Okay, have you ever done something amazing, like out of the blue, one day you just did something, but nobody was around to notice? Like you hit a hole-in-one on the golf course.
Oh my God.
And there's nobody
was
around to witness.
Caught the big one that got away at the end.
Yeah, you know. Well, that would be an example of an enormous accomplishment, but it's also considered, we call it in the dead space here, an enormous. It's an enormous accomplishment. Nothing to do but sit back and appreciate the enormity of it. Word of the day, enormous.
Enormous.
Back to the dead space.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right. So, can you move your enormous out of the way? Your enormous word. All right, so you can see that's got that little sparkle and shine. Now, I used Master Layouts 19 on this one, but I did one with Polyglaze where I used Master Layouts 20. So this, you can see how you can use these same layouts, just change up your background dye. It's the same exact layout, but here I use the Polyglaze. So the Polyglaze just has that shine around that perimeter of the design. So all of the little parts are outlined and you just stencil right inside of them. On this one, no outside lines, so just that soft stencil look. So two completely different looks, one full of sparkle and shine from foil, one very soft card with just a little bit of sparkle from the sequins. Now I want to show you another one that I made. This is not a card, but this one is a tag, and this is a more traditional look. Now remember, a big tag can also be a focal image on a card if you like that look, you like the look of a tag. But I also like making tags, especially for the holidays, because we do the wine, you bring a bottle of wine to a party or something, and these are great to really dress it up. And here I just used our 14 karat foil on the Polyglaze and colored it in with traditional colors. I used Coral Reef and Red Velvet, and then I stamped this in Red Velvet, and then I used the spruces again. But you can see the difference here in the spruces with no outline and the spruces with the outline from the Polyglaze. So that's 3 different looks from this same stencil. And here again, this is Master Layouts 20. This is Master Layouts 19. No Master Layouts on here, but what I did was I took our Harvest Flourish stencil and I used that light spruce and just gave it a little wispy background. So let me show you the Polyglaze, because I know a lot of you are asking questions about the Polyglaze, and then I'll bring these cards back and we can look at them again. So I'll just foil one, and that will give me an opportunity to put a little sparkle gel over it, okay? So let's see. Sometimes I don't know if it's on or off, but I have my machine on, and I'm turning it up to 3. Now, I keep all of my Polyglaze in with the stamp sets that they go with, but in this one, I have all the Polyglaze from everything, I believe. Maybe I don't. Let me see. Where's my Polyglaze? Let me find it. It's here. It's here. It's here somewhere. If it's not here, I can always ask Tom to go get me one. But let me check, because this is my little take-home bag. And there's a really good chance it's in here. There it is. Okay.
Oh, we had a question a while back. I hope she's still here. It's a newbie. And she wanted to know where she could go to get the scoop on the master layout set, what they are. And
Oh, well, if you're still here and you're watching, if you're on the YouTube channel, just go to my channel. You can click on my name under the video. Just click on my name. That'll take you right to my channel. And then you can go to playlists. And there is a whole playlist called Master Layouts. And you will be able to find whatever Master Layouts die set you are interested in learning about. And I have a whole video on every one of the Master Layouts up through 16. We're working our way through, and we've got 4 more to do to complete the series.
And
So-
they speed up the process of cutting different elements.
Exactly,
Of
yes.
it's a more efficient way to create elements.
Exactly. Yep, it's an efficient way to do layers, because when you're doing layers and you want a circle and you want it layered together with a shadow layer, or you like the look of this thin black line going around the outside, but you have trouble cutting it straight and it matches up here, but here it's too skinny or too fat. Master Layouts makes them perfect every time. And I like using the Master Layouts when I don't know what to make. I'm trying to figure out what to do, but I just want to be crafty. You can just pre-cut a bunch of panels so that you're ready to go when you are feeling inspired, and just grab what you need.
And Tanya asked about the Chucky tool. Tanya, we are experiencing some serious difficulties right now with that product, and we're going to have a good meeting and work that out and get that moving. So
yeah, we have
appreciate
an issue
all the patience.
Very unexpected issue with that.
So so stay tuned, and thank you for being patient.
All right, so with the Polyglaze, if you're new to Polyglaze, Polyglaze sheets are printed designs. Can you see that little bit of shine? That's the glaze on there. So this Polyglaze material will, foil will adhere to it. And so what we want to do is we're pre-cutting it, and then we're going to take a Swiffer duster or any kind of dusting cloth, and we're just going to make sure there's no dust that would prevent the Polyglaze from sticking. And then we're going to dust the back of the foil too, because it's amazing how dusty we are in our craft rooms. All right, now I am going to put this in the carrier sheet that comes with the machine, and I'm going to feed it through with the folded side going through first. And again, this is set on level 3. With Polyglaze, I like setting 3 because you don't get much overfoiling when you're using level setting 3. But if you're doing a whole piece of Polyglaze, you can bump it up to level 4, because, I mean, if you're doing the whole thing, there is no such thing as overfoiling. You want everything to foil so you can make it a little hotter. Elizabeth didn't go through her rebellious teen years till she was 30. Well, I waited till I was in my 40s, maybe close to 50, actually, when I got the nose pierced. Okay, so I'm going to just turn this off and let this cool for a second, and then I'm going to find the coordinating die to the mistletoe. All right, because we're going to cut it out. So you can see here, in this case, I foiled first, and now I'm going to die cut it. But if you are doing die cutting where it's not this type of thing, it's more like you're going to die cut a circle, then foil first and then die cut out of the foiled piece. All right, but with this, look at that beautiful shine. Isn't that? It's perfect. The reason why we love Polyglaze around here is because you never get any black spotting like you can with toner. It foils so easily. It's perfect every time. And if there was any little spot on here that the foil missed, you'd never see it because it's so light, because it's just that really, really super pale grayish white. Okay, so now we're going to die cut this. So let's get the die cutting machine. Got too many machines here. Get the die cutting machine. I like to foil first with these kinds of designs before I die cut because it's so hard to see where to line it up if you don't have the lines foiled. The foiled lines really, really help you to see where to cut. Okay. So I think we're good there. I like to use this masking magic to hold everything down if I'm not using the magnetic plates. And I love the magnetic plates, but before every release party, I take a bunch of stuff home, and I always take the magnetic plates because I do so much coordinating die cutting, and I forgot to bring my platform back. I have my plate, but I don't have my platform. So Polyglaze is so much fun. And you know, I mean, there's all kinds of different ways to foil and lots of great opportunities out there, but I feel like this is great because it's so economical if you're just dipping your toe into foiling, and it's perfect every time. So now you can see that beautiful design is foiled. Okay, so we'll just color this one quickly with some traditional colors. We'll do the reds and greens. Can you use a laminator to do this? Ginny, you can. Laminators tend to have inconsistent results. And the reason is because laminators really only have two temperatures, most of them. You'll see those temperatures as like 3 mil and 5 mil because that's really has to do with like what size laminating sheet you're putting through. And so it can be a little bit discouraging if you're not getting enough heat or you're getting too much heat. With the fuse, with this machine, or if you have a mink, you get more consistent results because you can actually set the settings to the exact temperature you want. And find my ink here while I'm talking. And you have the ability to, you're using a product that was designed for this purpose. When you use a laminator, you're using a machine that was not designed for this purpose, but it will work. Now, that being said, if you have a laminator at home because you have office supplies and that's something you have, don't go out and buy a machine until you try it. Your laminator might work great. But if it doesn't work, don't feel like it's you. It could and most likely would be the machine if it's not working. All right, let's start with the greens here. This is pretty easy to line up. Okay, and we will go with the spruces again. And let me just brush a little of this. Oh no, I don't have to worry about it because I used my detail brush. So I'm using the light spruce again. So you shouldn't have bar images going through your image. The bar, the little bar that goes across. Let me show you what she's talking about here. You see these bars that go across? Lots of dies have them, and that's how you get, because you can't just have that blade just suspended in air. It has to have a bar that connects it to the other blades. I think maybe you have your die cutting machine set too tight, or you have too many shims, or, you've got a machine where you don't have the luxury of adjusting those things. And sometimes if your machine is just set a little too tight, you might get some of those impressions. So I would definitely, if you're using a shim or something like that, definitely back off the shims and try cutting it that way. I don't have that problem with the intracut because the intracut allows you to adjust how tight the machine is for different purposes. So if you've got a super intricate die, you can really tighten it up. If you have a die like this that's going to cut really easily, and you don't want any impressions in there, you can loosen it up. All right, now we're going to go with the medium. And I'd have to really look. I didn't see any bar impressions in this at all. I don't see any in there. It looks pretty clean. Okay, so now we're going to use layer 2, and we're going to do the medium spruce on this. And it's super easy to see with the Polyglaze because you get that little extra benefit of the line going around the outside. And again, I'm going to use that little brush. That's the green one. I want to use the one, I got to look. Use that same one that I used before. I think this was the one. Yes, that was the one. Okay. Alrighty. So we'll just get this dark color. I feel like you need the full experience to see. And if you're using the sparkle gel, you definitely want to do all of your coloring first. You don't want to, because you can't like just plop a stencil on top of wet sparkle gel. So do all of your coloring first. And then what's nice is I'm just going to do the berries like you guys had asked for earlier. I'm just going to do the berries, and what's nice is the light color that we're going to use is the full circle, so it's the full berry. And so in this case, we're able to do that. Okay, so now we've got that. Oh, and it's just, like, you get the sparkle in there. It makes a big difference, doesn't it? Okay, so we're going to use Coral Reef here for our first layer of berries. We'll get that on there. So I'm just going to line up the ribbon down here. That'll line up all the berries very easily. So I'll get a red brush. And I'm using Coral Reef as the color. Now, Coral Reef is a beautiful, it's a little bit of like a, I don't know, like a calypso red, something that I feel like you'd see on a cruise ship. Has a lot of orange in it. But it really works nicely with our deeper reds for like a two-step red. Okay. So I'm going to take this off and I'm going to clean it. You can see how pretty that is. Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to clean it because we're going to need this to be clean when we use our sparkle gel. Just get that clean. And then I want to give it a chance to really dry, that the alcohol is completely evaporated. So we'll just put that aside and let that happen. And now we're going to go back onto this with, let's use red velvet. Red velvet is a really deep red. You can see the difference in these colors. So that's a great combination. And you could even use, if you wanted a lighter one, you could use sun-kissed coral.
Joy had an interesting comment. Couldn't the mistletoe be hanging the other way too, like upside
Yes,
down?
you definitely can hang it upside down if you want. The only problem with that is the bow will be a little bit weird.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But what you could do if you wanted to hang it, you could snip it before the bow and have it coming in from your card if you wanted. Alrighty. Okay. But you could do whatever you want because it's your card. So you don't have to do it my way. I just feel like it's such a pretty design, even if you're just using it as just holiday foliage and not really doing the whole mistletoe hanging upside down kind of thing. Just getting our dark lines in there. Okay, that's good. I think that's good. Here we go. So you can see now you've got the darker parts, the darker reds. If you really want to go deeper red than that, you can always do wild cherry, but I think this is just a nice light amount of contrast. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get this first stencil and we're going to put the stencil back over the berries. One thing though with Polyglaze, because the foil isn't porous, I would take a paper towel and just lightly rub over the piece just to blot up any ink that might be resting on the foil. Okay, so now we're putting that back over the areas that we've already done. And then just to be careful, I'm going to take a Post-it note, maybe 2, and just block off this bow, just so I don't get any sparkle gel on the bow. Unless you want it on the bow, then by all means, put it on the bow. All right, so the sparkle gel, when you get your sparkle gel, oh, Tom, okay. This has a protective seal. Do not throw this away. You need this protective seal to keep the gel from drying out. And you'll notice that this is the consistency of like a Vaseline almost. Can you see it sits up really high? It's not as liquidy as the Glitz Glitter Gel. Both are great. The only reason why I switched is because ThermoWeb, we were going to do a big Glitz Glitter Gel release for the holidays for my kit, and they told me they couldn't do it. It had to do with tariffs and things that they couldn't do. So I found a place here in the United States that is making this for me. So, all right, so we're going to take that little bit, you can see how much is on there, just a little bit, and we're going to just gently just rub it down. Get a little bit more here. There we go. And then we're going to take the side of the spatula and we're just going to make sure that there isn't like any globs anywhere. All right, and you can put all of that back into the jar. Now when you close the jar, make sure that you take a paper towel and just wipe along the edge of the jar wherever you've been like scraping, because there is a glue content in this product. So you want to make sure that you don't glue your lid onto your jar, and then replace your protective seal back on there. I'm going to wipe it again just to make sure. And then you can put your lid back on. And that will protect it, and that will keep it from drying out. Now, this one thing that I noticed about this sparkle gel is it washes completely off your stencil. There is no residue left behind, and I love that. I was really surprised. Oh, I got some on my, you know what, I'm going to just smear that down there. I got it on my ribbon, so it's going on the whole ribbon. That was my bad. I got it everywhere, but that's all right. It is so pretty. Why not? Let's glitz up the ribbon too, right? A little sparkle on the ribbon. But I was really surprised at how well it came off the stencil completely. I just took it to the sink, did a little soapy water with it and washed it, and it totally, everything came off. There was no residue. It's actually the set of stencils that I'm using that I've been working with, and no problem at all.
And that tool that you use to apply the gel, do we sell that?
We don't have that, but you can get that at any art supply store. You can get it at any of the, big box craft stores, your local craft stores, or even, Amazon.
Spatula.
Yeah, it's just a spatula. Okay. Now look at this. Can you see all that shimmer in there? Now we've got shine and glitter. It is so pretty. And when that dries, everything is clear. It doesn't change the color of the red. It just gives you that holographic glitter on top. So you can, ooh, almost dropped it. And it gives you that texture, it's a little bit more dimensional. But isn't that pretty? I love that. And then I would just take a paper towel. I know I'm using a lot of paper towels here, but I'm going to take a little alcohol to clean it off here. Normally I have a container that I just dump it in with water in my craft room because I don't have a sink in my craft room. But if you don't, if you have a sink in your craft room, just put it right in the sink. Like at home, I can just go right into the kitchen and right off my craft room and clean it all up. But I was just surprised with a little bit of soap and water how all of it came off. See how clean that is? And I haven't experienced that with a lot of other pastes and gels. Usually you get a little residue left behind. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. And then, you have to wait for this to dry. So it takes a couple hours to completely dry. Because like I said, it's got a glue content in it, which really holds the glitter in place. But I would make a bunch of them and just, put them aside. And then the next day, flip the stencil so the bow is in the right direction when hanging. Yeah, you could try that and see if that works. I'm not sure how that will fit because you've got leaves here that it might end up going over, but you could certainly try it and see how it works. Definitely. I would probably just trim it out here, this little V, and just hang it upside down like that. You could actually, here's an idea. You ready? Here's an idea. This is going to be messy because it's got glitter. But you could cut this off, right? Maybe I won't do it because it's wet. But you could cut the bow off. I got a little mess there. You could cut the bow off, right? And then hang this upside down and take the bow and flip the bow. So you couldn't really stencil it that way, but you could stencil it onto the die cut and then flip it, and then the die cut would just go where it goes. And I would cut this off too. I would cut these off. And you could line those up. Oh, I wish I could do it because it's wet. I can't do it, but that would be really cool. So definitely could cut the bow off, kind of attach this then to this, and flip the bow around, and then the bow could be upside down and you could have it hanging. Or you could just walk around with it over your head like this at Christmas, trying to get a kiss. All right, let's take a look at those cards one more time before we pick our winners. So here's the card I made tonight using our carnations and our spruces. And we did this without any outline. So this is just the raw stencil with the die cut, the way it comes in the kit. And we added a few little sparkles with Master Layouts 19. Then this one used Master Layouts 20, the window from Master Layouts 20. And this has Polyglaze. And I used our Glimmering Gold Polyglaze for the words. That's why it's all glittery. And I believe, did I use the glittering gold? I used glittering gold also for the perimeter of the the layered mistletoe too. So you could see it's more sparkly because it's the glimmering gold. It's that glitter gold foil instead of the plain gold foil. Then on the tag, I used just plain gold, the 14 karat gold that I also used on the one that I used the sparkle gel. So you can see the difference in the way the gold foil looks. This is just the plain gold and this is the glittery gold. So two different gold options there. We've got several different gold options. And then this final little show and tell was just the Polyglaze and then a little bit of the Starlight Sparkle Gel on top. All right. So what do you like best? Do you like the plain stenciling, the softness of that? Do you like lots of glittery foil? Do you like the cleanness of the plain foil? Do you like all the glitter and sparkle and shine that you can get and you would mix the foil along with the sparkle gel? I'm really interested to know what you like best. All right, and Tom, we're going to give away a gift card tonight, but before we do that, we hope you liked tonight's video, and if you did, if you wouldn't mind, if you're on YouTube, giving us a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to our channel, hit the subscribe button and all notifications so you never miss another video. And then if you're not a member of our Facebook group, we'd love to have you over there. It's called Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends. Come on over and join us. Look for that name up there. We're the group with 49,000 members. So make sure you join the right one because there are some people using our name. We'd love to have you. So much inspiration in that group of beautiful cards and other projects featuring Gina K Design stamps. So if you buy a Gina K Design stamp or die or stencil and you don't know what to do with it, come on over to the group. There is a huge media gallery from our members. And then thank you again to Brianne Loveland, who is in our comments here on YouTube, linking everything so people can find things easily. But if you missed any of her links and you want to find some of the products on our website, you can visit our website at ginakdesigns.com. All right, Tom, there it is, Gina K Designs. It's always the opposite of where I'm pointing. ginakdesigns.com. All right, well, we are going to give away a $15 gift certificate to one of our lucky soon to be 50,000, Julie. Ooh, one of our lucky viewers tonight. We have all the comments from both Facebook and YouTube here. So Tom, are you ready to pick a winner?
Here we go. Tonight's winner is Melody Mueller. Melody Mueller.
Yay, Melanie. Congratulations, Melanie. All you have to do is send your name and email address to info@ginakdesigns.com and tell them you won the $15 gift card. You can use it anytime. It doesn't expire. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all so much for all of your wonderful comments and for participating. It's always great to look up and see your comments. I love to see your laughter and your different little emojis that you put in there. We love having you in the chat, and we really appreciate each and every one of you. We hope that you find this channel and our Facebook group a happy place. We always want it to be a happy place and a place where you feel like you can escape. And Tom and I will be back on Thursday with another Stamp and Chat Live, so we hope you'll join us then. In the meantime, everybody, stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.